What if even the negative part is the truth of what needs to happen? What is reality? Reality is every billionaire that you hear talk, every financial expert that you hear talk says what? And the truth is that we all are that same being. The difference is one simple thing. Can you have the courage to look at yourself in the mirror and... Welcome to another episode of You versus You. This segment I'm calling Intimate Talks. This is where I'm gonna share with you guys some thoughts, ideas on the way that I see life, how I see success, how I see career, love, and so many other things about our everyday life that I would love to share with you on my thoughts, ideas, and honestly, my POV on how you can live a better life and ultimately win the battle of you versus you. Now, I'm gonna start with some subjects, but the goal here is that your comments, your questions get us going into a place that I can always share something that you're looking for. My goal is to share ideas that can really help you individually challenge yourself and ultimately get the solutions that you're looking for in life and better yourself. With that said, today I want to talk about The Matrix. We all know the hit movie. We've all seen it. We all know what it did for Keanu Reeves' career. But the truth is that we are all living in the Matrix. And what does that mean? Well, we all have this idea about reality. What is actually happening in our lives, how we are perceiving that. And because of that reality or this idea of reality that we have, 99% of our problems come from it. And I'll explain that in two ways. One, the majority of the times that you are upset by someone else's actions is because you're perceiving that person's actions through what you think is your reality. And two, you live your life as it's meant to be, meaning this is who I am, this is what my life is, and anything and anybody that challenges that is fearful to me, so I'm not going to engage in that. So I'm going to come into conflict with myself, I'm going to come into conflict with somebody else, I'm going to challenge them. I have a right to speak up. I have a right to be myself. Now, have you truly ever asked yourself who you are? What does being yourself actually mean? And how do you know that you're being yourself? How do you know that that version of yourself that you are perceiving and that you're interpreting is the correct version of yourself? Why do I touch on this? Well, because so much of the you versus you battle is trying to define who you are and what reality actually means. So if you remember in the movie, Neo gets presented two options, a red pill and a blue pill. The blue pill was ignorance. In other words, it's taking a pill that says, why am I going to challenge the quote unquote reality that I'm living? Why am I going to challenge the things that I've been taught? What am I going to challenge what my parents told me was right or wrong? Why am I going to challenge the way that society tells me I look good or look cool? And now maybe there's some people that say, hey, there's areas of my life that are such amazing blessings because I have success, I'm handsome, I'm doing well here, I have a wife, I have a husband, I have kids. Like, why would I challenge that when everything's going good? And now there's people that have things going wrong in their lives, and that ultimately triggers you to try to fix that because you're like, no, this can't be. It can't be this. My life can't be this disaster. It can't not have a job. I cannot have this. So I have to challenge it. And the real question is, why does something negative that you're perceiving have to be the trigger? What if even the negative part is the truth of what needs to happen? And so what is reality? Reality is your perception. And that's a mixture of two things. The things that are happening around you that we sense, right? You smell when somebody's cooking, you see when the ocean is hitting the waves, you can hear a train coming, you can touch this wooden table that I have in front of me. And the other one is what you're actually perceiving. You see, all those things that your senses just picked up could mean something for me, could mean something different for someone else. So I can smell somebody cooking something, and for you, it might be like, wow, that's my favorite meal. It's a nice fish. And for me, it's like, oh, that taste of fish is so disgusting. I don't want it around me. Now, your reality and my reality are different. Your reality is your perception, and your perception is your beliefs. And what we consistently question on you versus you is, whose beliefs are you living? And can you challenge those beliefs to better who you are every single day? even in the areas of your life that seem that they're perfect. See, that's the red pill. The red pill was Neo taking it and saying, I actually want to know the truth of what's going on here. And when he started to understand the matrix, he was able to start bending it and breaking it by just changing his mindset of what he saw. The truth is, you are a body, a mind of infinite possibilities. There is humans that have accomplished things that we can't even dream of. There's humans that we admire that are jumping up in the air 10 feet, that are doing all these marvelous things, that are changing the world with their mind and their inventions. And the truth is that we all are that same being. The difference is some people's beliefs are different. And their beliefs of their greatness and their capacity to push their body allowed them to change their perception. And if they change their perception, they change their reality. Now, I recently was watching the Dallas Cowboys documentary on Netflix. And Jimmy Johnson, the coach of the Dallas Cowboys during their 2 Super Bowls, he had something that I thought was incredible. And he said, let your mind control your body, not your body control your mind. And I thought that was so great to tell a team of football players who were pushing their body to the limit. Because the truth is, when they push their bodies and they're in pain, is their mind perceiving that moment as pain, perceiving that moment as suffering that makes them stop. But if their mind pushes through the pain, through an injury, through everything, they can push the team to become champions. They can push their team to do plays that nobody else has done. They can push themselves to become even bigger and better of a human being that they can be. Well, those same possibilities that you've seen in football players, that you see in athletes, that you see in people like Elon Musk, and you see in these geniuses of our times, is within you. Now, what the definition and the result of that greatness, that's on everybody's path in their lives. But the possibilities of what you can create and how you can change your reality are very real to you. To do so, you have to start looking in the mirror. And you have to make a choice. See, the one part about life that is very true to our nature is that we have endless possibilities. But with endless possibilities comes the hardest part of being alive, which is every single day is a set of choices. It's a set of decisions that have to be made in order for your path to go one way, to go the other, to go back, or to go front. And the majority of us struggle to make those choices. So we enter a loop. We enter the matrix. We start living the same life every single day. We embark on the journey of our morning. We drink our coffee. We go to work. We go home. We see our boyfriend or our girlfriend. We go to sleep. We see our... And that is the routine and the routine and the routine and the routine. And maybe you challenge yourself one little bit over here, maybe by going to the gym. So you start slowly seeing some body change, but you're in the loop. But this transformational change that you see and you hear people talk about, all the greats in the motivational speeches and all the greats in the health podcast business, what they're telling you and what they're talking about is one simple thing. Can you have the courage to look at yourself in the mirror and challenge what you perceive to be reality? And in doing that, can you start pinpointing the things of your life that are based on a belief system? Let me give you one that is pretty relatable to all of us. Actually, I'll give you 2. Most of the world has been taught we must get married, that we must find the love of your life. We have a whole holiday called Valentine's Day around the idea that you have to fall in love and that you have to find a partner in life in order to feel fulfilled. So you have a lot of women who have pressure to find that in a time period because their maternal clock is running out and they don't want to have kids too late. And then you have guys who spend their whole lives searching for the perfect woman. And history shows that some of the biggest mistakes, some of the biggest empires in the world have fallen because of love, because of a woman guiding a man the wrong way and the man being completely devoted to this person in order to make the wrong choices. Now you might say, but we all need connection. We all need to relate to someone. I agree. I think that's the beautiful part of sharing energy with someone. What you don't actually need is love. What you need to do is love yourself. What you need to do is understand how to accept every area of yourself. Because when you love yourself, when you're so comfortable with yourself, you start understanding what you actually want. See that separation there? Need. I need to find a girlfriend. I need to get married before. I want. Now, most of us go through life chasing what we need. We go and we let our friends or society influence us to buy a bag, and oh my God, I need that bag. I need that Hermes bag, or I need that Rolex. Then you buy it and you feel unfulfilled because it wasn't generally what you want. It wasn't generally what you love. And so when you learn to love yourself and change the belief that you need someone else, what happens is you get clarity. And that clarity allows you to understand what you want. And when you want and you understand what you want, then you can attract that. And then you start feeling the connection with someone. I know so many people, including myself, that have asked the universe for something or someone, and that person walks in your life and you're questioning every day if that's the right person. You're questioning, why doesn't she do this? Or why doesn't he do that for me? And why I thought he was always going to be fun, but he's now only wants to stay home, or she only, wants to care about her friends, her TikTok. And it comes from that belief that you needed something. Now, let me give you another one. How many times have you heard someone say, save your money? Now, the concept of saving the money is storing something of value. Now, if you come from nothing, you've been taught to save money. You've been taught that saving money means security. But even that is just a perception. It's a belief system, because money is values. Tomorrow, the currency of your country has, as it happened in so many countries in the world, from one day to the next, there's a new government and the money disvalues, and all of a sudden you had $15 that are now worth 5 cents. Every billionaire that you hear talk, every financial expert that you hear talk says what? Keep your money in motion. Why? Because you're moving energy. Because the consumption and the acquirement of things is energy. Now, they're belief systems. And the question comes down to the same thing. How many of these belief systems do you have in your life that keep you from growing, that stop you from reaching your true potential, which is not this definition of success or this and the other that we've heard? The true potential is that you open yourself to the realm of possibilities. That is the secret of life, is that you are actually capable of becoming Neo. You can bend the universe however you see fit if you believe that you can. But in order to believe that, you need to change the core of who you think you are and what you actually perceive as reality. And you might say, well, Lex, this sounds amazing, but it also sounds so confusing. How do I actually start? How do I actually get going? Here is my process in life. I start by just working on the things that are making me uncomfortable. So I might wake up in the morning, I might get a phone call. That phone call, just my body reacts. So I write that down. This person doing this bothered me. I start figuring out, why does it bother me? Then I walk around and let's say I'm in a meeting and somebody perceives something. Somebody says something to me. Okay, I write it down. Maybe I look in the mirror and I'm like, I didn't go to the gym today. I write it down. Then I'm walking out and I'm like, God, I wish that the air conditioning on my car worked better. I write it down. And you may say, why are you writing these things down? Well, because I'm perceiving them as my reality. And I'll use the air conditioning as a perfect example. You may say to yourself, I wish this air was a lot colder. But is it a blessing or is it a curse that you have that? How are you perceiving that to be a blessing? Because it's a blessing that you have cars. Some people don't have air in their car. Some people don't even have a car. And the understanding of accepting that and knowing that also too, the same way that you're accepting that you have that, you can generally manifest the growth of another car. But until you are completely perceiving that situation for what it is, you can't understand what is it that you actually want. And that happens throughout our days consistently. And that leads me to the point of why we are bothered by other humans so much and how that causes us so much stress on our daily life. Well, most of us think that we're right or wrong. And the idea of fighting right or wrong makes us want to stand up for something. But the question is, why do you feel the need to even stand up for something? Why do you feel the need to have to prove someone else wrong? Now, that doesn't mean that you can't be passionate about something that you're building or doing or creating. But it is the approach of why you feel the need to fight back in a situation, like in a relationship when you're in a couple and your wife or your husband says something and you want to get into a fight. You say, oh, this is not going to work. You and I don't see eye to eye. You're perceiving the information that person is giving you and you're filtering it through your perception, which is your beliefs. And in those moments, you need to check yourself and say, are my beliefs correct? Can I change my perception? And can I look at that? And it's not about, oh, but that's going to make that person right. No, it's about the simple action that doing that in your mind allows you to question. And in questioning, it allows you to truly understand your truth from the false. And based on that, then you can change what you like in comparison to what you love, what you need in comparison to what you want. And trust me, life gets a lot better when you're clear about what you want, when you are only doing the things you love and you don't like, and when you can clearly understand what's truth or false within yourself in order to put boundaries around your life, in order to be able to manage situations with other people and other humans, and in order to break yourself out of your own box. I say every single day of my life, we, since birth, have created mental prisons through our perception of the things that we are living. I was hearing Joe Dispenza the other day discuss that 50% of what you remember actually didn't happen the way you remembered. Your mind took all the fragments of this information and processed them through memories and beliefs in order to hallucinate what you build as your reality. Like, think about how crazy that idea is. And now think about in your life. I know I could personally think back of my life multiple times in my childhood, multiple times in my life, where I've perceived something to be one way and it's actually been a completely different thing. How many times have you said something to someone or you call someone like, oh my God, I'm so excited to go here and I can't wait. You called your mom or your dad. And because they are perceiving it a different way, they're like, no, but you can't go there. And you're like, wait, but this is good. This is what you wanted me to do. No. And then you get into a whole argument and you're just like, what the heck? She literally told me that to go to college. I get into the college I want. And now she's saying I can't go to college. And it's just because that person perceives something that is not real. It's all perception. And that happens through every single day of our lives. You go to work every single day, and most people go to work and are miserable because they're perceiving it as this is not for me. And here's where I conclude and come back to what I said at the beginning. So many of our times we get challenged or we start challenging ourselves to be better when we perceive something to be negative. But then we perceive everything else to be good, so we don't challenge us. So if I'm going good in my job or I'm making good money, I'm not going to challenge that. I'm not going to rough the feathers, as they say. If I'm going good in my restaurant, I'm not going to rough the feathers. But on the other end, when something bothers me, maybe I feel fat because I saw my friend and she's so skinny or has a six-pack and I don't have a six-pack, or Oh, I don't have money to go here, and they're going on all these things. But what if it's the opposite? What if all these things that you're perceiving in a negative way are actually all positive? What if the job that you're in that you think is so miserable is there to teach you discipline? And that's why it makes you miserable, because you don't want to wake up at 6 in the morning. But until you break the habit of not waking up at 6 in the morning and having discipline on yourself and understanding how to solve those problems, you won't get to joy. How many times have you walked into a restaurant and you've gotten a bad attitude from a person serving you? But how many times have you walked into a restaurant and gotten hi, how are you? Oh my God, how's your day going? And you're like, wow, I love this restaurant. I feel at home. Now, how many times have you perceived something to be good? You perceived your relationship to be perfect. I have the best girlfriend, or I have the best boyfriend in the world. They're like this. And all of a sudden you find out the boyfriend and the girlfriend was cheating. Or you are super happy and that person is miserable. How many times have you perceived, oh my God, yes, I'm killing it at my job. I have this money and all this stuff. And you get into your very expensive car and you go home, but you are alone. And there's someone who has way less money than you that's enjoying their beer like it's their last beer, because that's actually all they can afford. And you have a whole lot of liquor in your kitchen and you're miserable. Like, this is the reality. There's wealthy people, very successful people that are miserable. There's people that live in the middle of the Amazons who are happy and joyful because their life is exactly how they perceive it to be. So here's my challenge. Here is what I challenge you to do today. You now understand that reality is perception. At best, is a hallucination of thoughts and ideas that you're perceiving through your belief system, through your trauma, through your fears, to be something they are. How do you change your perception? Question your beliefs. I want you to write down a set of beliefs that you think cause you to mark something as right or wrong. And I want you to start challenging those. I want you to look in the mirror and start figuring out how to transform those areas of your life by taking the red pill. Welcome to the Matrix. You're in it. Not by choice, but by design. Now the question is, do you want to continue to be the machines? Or do you want to be Neo and Morpheus and be the heroes of the film? The choice is yours. Remember, we live in a world of infinite opportunities that is left with nothing else but choices. Challenge yourself. Redefine who you are so you can love everything that you do. Everything. And I'm saying everything again because I mean everything. The tears, the fears, every area of your life, love it. If you can love it, you can define what you want. You genuinely don't need anything. You want. What do you want out of life? What do you want life to give you? What do you want to design? You're in the matrix. You could bend. You could fly. You can dodge bullets. So if you have that level of superpower, what do you want? Anything you want, you can get. You just got to set yourself free. And once you understand how to love everything you do, you start understanding what you actually want, then you get the peace. Then you get the clarity. Then you get the opportunity to look at the possibilities of decision making in life from a place of wholeness, from a place of freedom, from a place that is whole. Because the one thing that I know about myself today is that I'm capable of doing anything and everything if I just defined what I want and what I love. I hope this episode has inspired you to look deeper and deeper into yourself. I wanted to start these kind of conversations not as an opportunity only for you to follow my way of thinking, but in hopes that my conversations, my truths, lead you to redefine yourself and your own truths, and therefore Start designing like an architect the life of your dreams, the life you've been hoping for, the life that you've been fighting for, the life that you know deep inside of you, it's already here and you're more than capable of achieving. I want to hear from you guys. I want to use this space as an intimate conversation between you and I to share thoughts, to share ideas, to answer questions to the best of our abilities. Again, there is no right or wrong here. I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to put you aside because you don't think like I think. I'm just here to conversate and talk to you about these ideas. So please comment, like, and share. I'm looking forward to having these moments with you. This has actually been an amazing time spent with you. And thank you for watching You versus You. Thank you for supporting everything that we're doing here. And I'm excited to continue our conversations. I'll see you next time.